Hey, good evening, Utopian Baseball Universe. Special broadcast as today is Baseball Life Day here in the Utopian Baseball Universe. I like to feature different groups that I belong to throughout the season, and this is definitely one of my favorites. And we have one of the admins and creators, Vince Mercandetti, here. Vince, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, Joey. How are you?
I'm doing great. Look what I do for my guests. I'm
I
wearing a Yankees
know.
cap.
Is your head burning a little bit having to wear that as a Mets fan or no?
Like I took out recycling about a half hour ago, and the neighbors were starting to wonder if
Yeah,
something was wrong.
yeah. My
Like if
neighbor.
I was like a hostage situation, like who's making you do this? But
Yeah, I
uh,
have that much pull, I guess. So yeah, I'm happy to see it.
yeah, I mean, I love the cap. And look, as far as like baseball reading goes, I've read more Yankees books than probably any other teams combined. So I don't, I'm not one of these Mets fans who hates the Yankees or hates all these other teams. I love baseball first, but it does feel a little strange
Yeah,
wearing it today. But
yeah,
thanks for being here, Vince.
yeah. No problem.
I actually joined your group about a year ago, and I really enjoy it. One of the better baseball groups out there. Tell us how it all got started and how baseball life is a little bit different than some of the groups that are out there.
Okay, sure. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog's pretty excited for this interview too.
They are.
Yeah, it's actually a funny story we love telling about how baseball life got started. We actually used to belong to a different group, which will remain nameless. Um, and Henry Maldonado is actually the official founder of the group. And the way that came to be was that he was in the prior group, had kind of a scuffle with the founder of that group, got kicked out, and his closest loyalists followed him, and we started this group. But the lesson there is not, to avoid arguments on Facebook. It's that the reason that he got kicked out and the reason we wanted to start this group was to escape things that you kind of see in all the other groups, especially sports ones. They can get very passionate and heated, obviously. We're all huge sports fans, but the telltale sign and the calling card of the life groups in general, because there's more than one, is we are not soft. We will joke around, we'll troll other teams and stuff like that, and we'll talk shit, but it's all with civility and respect. And that's, I think, the one thing. You go into all of these other groups, and I know this, I was in 20 baseball groups at one point. Now I'm in yours, mine, and probably like one or two other ones that are Yankee based. But you go in all these groups, and it's either people just saying nonsensical things, just like I'm the best Yankee fan ever or whatever. I'm like, that's not adding anything to the conversation. Or you get the really, really hardcore trash talking groups, and it's just like, sometimes people just want to talk baseball. Like, you don't have to hate each other, and you don't have to, I'm a Yankee fan. I'm used to this my entire life. For everyone coming at me from everywhere about baseball, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can have a civil conversation with other fans, and or you run into groups where it's just not very knowledgeable fans. There's a lot of fans out there. They're not all going to be winners. So that's really what we strive for. Is it's very much a quality over quantity approach.
One of the things I love most about the group is that on a daily basis, and I could go back and cite some examples, but you guys give us dialogue that is thoughtful and educating, and like you said, it's civil. Like you had a great post. It was either today or last night where you said if there was a reset and if all these great things were to happen with the collective bargaining and you were guaranteed baseball tomorrow, but you had to leave your team, what team would you join? It's so fun reading those types of answers and having that type of conversation rather than, like you said, the tiresome, is Pete Rose a Hall of Famer? Ruth or Mick?
Yes.
We've
Yeah.
had those conversations a billion times. So I like that we come from different angles to give what I feel is very thoughtful baseball dialogue. And like you said, I'm not getting that a lot of baseball groups. I'm invited to probably 2 a week.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty picky, like I am with produce. It's like I'll do the 28-day trial,
Yeah.
but if I'm not seeing dialogue that I can't uh, get elsewhere, then what's the point? So I appreciate that feature of what you guys do in baseball life.
Yeah, thank you. That's probably how I became an admin. Humorously enough, is I have a broadcast journalism background. I was in the industry for a little bit, not enough to brag by any means, in sports media, and this has just been my entire life. Like that's my thing is I love writing about baseball. Really, I can write about other sports, but baseball is my main passion. That's the one that I know inside and out. I mean, you see it. Anyone who's in baseball life sees it as far as discussing all the collective bargaining stuff. That's hours of research. I'm not just saying things emotionally. Like it's based on observation and things like that. And we strive for that with a lot of our posts, not just for me, but everyone. But I was a massive contributor early on and eventually got made an admin for things like that. This is a community. I want to meet different people. We're, probably not going to meet 99% of them in person, although in the life groups we have had meetups and I've met a good number of them. But I want to, like you said, there's an originality aspect that I really like about the groups and kind of asking the questions that maybe you don't get to share often. Even things as simple as how you became a fan. People don't want to ask the questions that involve a lot of thought. They'd rather ask, I don't know, some basic who's your favorite player, whatever. I want to go a little more in depth than that. And we have a core group in there who's now, I mean, we're going on 5 years now. We know each other. Like we know each other on a personal level, and you can see that kind of camaraderie come across. And we want new members to join too. I wouldn't say it's not an exclusive group where we're trying to avoid having new people. It's just there's a certain culture there. Some people get it. We do have political posts every so often that get a little out of hand, and I have to actually, we have to use our admin duties. We do get the occasional, is Barry Bonds better than Babe Ruth, or is Pete Rose a Hall of Famer that you see a million times? I'm bored of them. I usually don't weigh in before that reason. But the good thing is that we're in a good place. We've got about 8,600 members. That goes a long way for different content and sort of different perspectives.
Yeah, you've got a really good base there. Now, you had mentioned broadcasting. Tell us a little bit about the Life Group podcast that we can see within the group. And you guys have a YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, really, I guess the end of 2019, right before the world fell apart, we talked about these podcasts because the conversation was so good in written form in the groups. And for anyone wondering, I had mentioned earlier, we have a basketball group, we have a football group, we have a pop culture group, we have a pet group, we have a parent group. So it's not just baseball, but we had talked about, there's great conversation in there. Why don't we try and bring another form of entertainment? And that's kind of how the idea got started. And a few of the admins worked on putting that into motion, finding hosts, finding, technology, as I'm sure hosting this. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to get these things up and running. And we started it New Year's Day 2020. Dong City is Henry and my group, very aptly named. And we also have actually a Total Bases, which is kind of like a fantasy take on like fantasy baseball take, not like utopian baseball type stuff. Fantasy baseball take on baseball in a podcast. So we've got a circuit of them across the life groups. You can find them certainly on our YouTube channel. I think you just have to search for life groups, if I'm not mistaken. And we also have audio only. That was actually a suggestion from someone in the group, after the first few months that we brought to life. So we use Anchor for that. It shoots it out over to, Apple and Spotify and all the other groups that kind of host audio. And you can see our videos on YouTube and audio only. And we go live with all of our broadcasts within the groups. Dong City is actually kind of inconsistent right now. In 2020, when baseball stopped, we were on there every week dissecting the latest labor disputes and everything like that. it's not a road we want to go back down. Like, that's not that fun.
Sure.
We want there to be baseball. So when baseball comes back, we're on a little more consistently, usually every other week, and it's live, so you can interact with us, and we're usually just talking about stuff around the league. But for now, it's kind of hit or miss. We announce ahead of time though when we're coming on.
Sure. In a couple minutes, guys, I'm going to post the links for the Dong City and the Life Group podcast from YouTube. Vince, real quick, a couple comments here from some members. Tim loved the baseball movie bracket last year.
Yes, that was one of my favorites ever, and it worked so well. And I've done a lot of brackets, and they usually are like a huge mess. That I love too, Tim. That was one of my favorite things to participate in.
Tim and I were both upset that Long Gone didn't get the love that we felt it deserved. But
I'm sure you weren't happy with my comments on it either. Then I'm not a fan of that movie, unfortunately.
I would love to have you on at some point again to discuss that, because him and I, we agreed when we aired it a couple nights ago. It is not, there's a lot of holes in it. There's a lot of things that we dissected from it, but there's a difference between being great and being loved, and we love it. And we acknowledge it's not great, but we still love it.
I think if I watched it first when I was like a kid, like Angels in the Outfield, take that for example, that's not a very good movie.
Sure.
But I watched it so many times as a kid, it's like one of my favorite rewatchable movies as an adult. I think if I had that connection, I'd feel different. But I didn't watch Long Gone until prepping for that bracket, and I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And
that's how I feel like with like WWE. If I hadn't been hooked when I was 10, I wouldn't care about wrestling now. And now I just get frustrated with today's product. But like, if I wouldn't have been hooked at age 10, I wouldn't even give it the time of day.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Definitely something to be said for nostalgia.
Shamea Cortez says Baseball Life is a great group. Love it. Yes, it is a fantastic group. I sent out a bunch of invites this morning. If you're watching this right now, again, this is Vince Mercandetti. He's one of the admins and key contributors to Baseball Life. And like I said, in a couple minutes, we're going to get those links up for the podcasts and the YouTube channel. Vince, thank you for joining us briefly here today. Baseball Life Day in the Utopian. We'll just make this a tradition. So next year, March 4th, we'll probably do this again. Maybe get Henry and Felipe on here. But again, thanks for being here. And we'll get those links up. Anything else you want to add before we get going?
I wanted to shout out back to you. I know when you approached us with Baseball Utopian, I didn't really understand it. I thought it was cool. Sure. I didn't really understand the concept, so I went in the group and started kind of seeing. I'm like, oh, all right, he's like really doing this. But I wanted to tell you that I'm actually in a historical baseball simulation fantasy league now.
Nice.
So, yeah, very much on board, 8-team league. Currently, Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill are in the middle of my lineup, which makes me happy because the 98 Yankees were one of the teams that's kind of in that pool, and I'm in first place. So, yeah, a little inspiration from your side.
I'd love to hear at some point later down the line how that all works. And definitely, if you want to post about that within the Utopian, just how it works and how you're doing, keep us updated on that. But thank you for joining us this afternoon. And again, guys, check out Vince and Baseball Life and all the other life groups, Wrestling Life. What were some of the other ones there? You said
let me try and remember them. Yeah. We have Pet Life, Parent Life, Wrestling Life, Football Life, Basketball Life, obviously Baseball Life, Pop Culture Life. And then there's kind of a secret group that you get invited to one day if you're an exemplary member, which we won't talk about. But those are the majority of them, I'm sure. Oh, Food Life as well. Everyone likes to eat. I'm Italian. I especially like to eat. So it's all of those, any of those groups, same type of culture. Baseball Life's by far the biggest group, but all those other ones are fun to participate in too.
Well, I've got a number of groups that I have to add to my collection today. Food Life sounds like a blast. I've been in Wrestling Life for about the same amount of time as Baseball Life. I love talking about the old stuff and seeing what's up on the new stuff. But again, thank you to Vince for being here tonight. We're going to have him on later in the season again, but look for those links here in the next couple minutes. Everyone have a good weekend. Vince, thanks again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. Next time you see this mug is going to be Tuesday. We're going to do an encore presentation of the inaugural Having a Catch with Dan Byrne, Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Central. Take care.